Many years ago, you once roleplayed with streamer XQC on his infamous character, Jean Paul. What was it like to roleplay with the Juicer, despite the fact that he might be one of the most banned players on NoPixel, who seemingly then got unbanned multiple times? What was it like to roleplay with the Juicer? We're joined today by NoPixel admin and incredible NoPixel role player, not just role player in general, Nakkida. Nakkida, what do you think of that?
Oh man. It was fun. Honestly, it was a lot of fun because he is one of those people that will kind of just go with anything. And he is so unintentionally funny a lot of the time. And oh my God, there was a moment where like we had been doing like toe or something together for like a while, and we had this kind of like little ongoing thing where we would just run into each other randomly, and he never really knew what he was doing next. But I left him somewhere, and then I started driving back around, and I ran into him again, and he was like having trouble with a car, and he just pretended nothing happened, and he awkwardly just walked away from me, not saying anything when I stopped to help him. And it was just too funny. Like he is a hoot. Whenever I interact with him, like we had the driving school interaction, which was like a huge thing. That was a lot of fun.
That was
I think he
legendary
robbed a
content.
house or like a store while I was on the driving school with him, and I just played dumb. He just, I don't know. I think a lot of people have, obviously like controversial opinions of him, but me personally, I always found it fun to interact with him, even on COP, because, role play is like a give and take, and I think a lot of people had a hard time finding that with him, like to try and like get that balance. But once you figure him out, like his character, he was a ton of fun.
And the dog agrees. Perfect.
Yeah.
Chatterbox, did you ever see much of the like Tessa and Jean Paul stuff? The reason I ask is because
No.
I just remember it being some of my favorite. Hey, listen, now you have something to react to on stream. Okay, you've got to watch it's an old clips, old VOD of the driving school with Jean Paul and Tessa. It was peak RP.
I can imagine that was something. I can imagine that was entertaining. Damn, I think I've only ever ran into Jean Paul once on the server, and he shot my ass because we had a car accident.
I mean,
yeah.
To Nakkida's point, I mean, like you just never really know like what you're gonna get with him. Like, and so I don't even think that this is necessarily a controversial thing, but I was gonna ask you, Nakkida, because again, obviously, there's both the role player side of you, and then there's you have to do like you also do admin stuff for NoPixel, so you might have a good perspective of this. Have you seen people where they've been, and we say banned, but let's say they've been disciplined or they've broken rules, and then you've seen them come back as stronger role players as a result of that? And the reason I bring that up is because I believe that was XQC, like early 3.0. He was banned, I felt like, every other week, but he genuinely seemed to change and get better each time.
Bro, not only was he banned a million times, now he owns
part of it. Wow, what a story.
Actually, an example for that as well that I might use is, Buddha. He had an incident a long time ago. It affected him deeply. He came back and he, became consistent, and I think it took him a long time to come back, but he had that, and then he came back, and now look where he is,
Buddha was banned at one point?
Yeah.
Damn.
So what you're saying is, to really elevate your roleplay to the next level and have a chance at ownership of a roleplay server, you need to get banned. Got it. You guys heard it here first from Nakkida. Guys, thanks for tuning into the Roleplay
Well,
Podcast.
that's not exactly the takeaway.
This has been excellent.
But...
Nakkida, you can follow her at twitch.tv/Nakkida, Chatterbox, twitch.tv/Chatterbox. Thanks, guys. We'll see you for the next episode. That was great. Thanks, guys.
It's not something that's the end of the world, and that's kind of the takeaway that I think people should take. Like, if you get disciplined on a server, you should probably look at what happened and learn from it and try to move on from it and figure that out. But it's not like a world-ending concept for someone to make a mistake. They that is a very human thing to do. Like, I've screwed up before. I've not been banned, but I know I have done things that are like, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I always try to learn from it.
Yeah, like what?
Oh,
wait, this is T. Okay, Nakkida, what's some of the, as an admin yourself, let's say you could review your own stuff. What's some of the what's some of the stuff that you think is the worst you've done?
Me?
Me?
I don't know. I mean, I got banned in Minecraft once, so like that's like a
bro,
whole
she
thing.
was cheating on Bed Wars, bro. She was so competitive. She got banned permanently. We couldn't even play together anymore now.
T.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever done anything like massive, but it's kind of like those little things where it's like, if somebody decided to be upset over it, I might have gotten in trouble. Like, people make mistakes all the time in roleplay. Like little things, like maybe we go over the rule of 6 occasionally on accident. Like, there was a time recently where we saw someone getting chased and we went and we tried to pick them up. And then we kind of realized after the fact, oh, they had 6. We probably shouldn't have done that. And so we turned around and dropped them back off, and we were like, sorry. But like, it's that kind of stuff where people kind of screw up. And it's nothing that is really intentional, but it happens. And obviously someone could get upset about it and I could be held accountable, and that's fine. I'm happy to, take accountability for whatever I do on the server, but I try not to, because I'm an admin and I try to set an example, but also I'm having fun and when I'm in the moment and like things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rule of 6 thing, I think we've accidentally went over that quite a few times. And it's just like, oh shit, we had 8 people. Like, sometimes it gets bad and we're like, oh, I thought this was a different situation or whatever. Yeah, like, it actually happens a lot. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just the other day we were at the hospital and something went down and I was on the phone for like 5 minutes and I turned around and there was like a million cops and I was like, what is happening? And I didn't realize it was like clown stuff that had like gone really south.
It was Osvaldo and Leo.
And I tried to get in the car and I was like, who's involved in this? And should I get in this car? And then I was like, okay, I'm getting out of the car. I'm not gonna put people in that position. So, it's just stuff like that you got to pay attention to.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more on the like, this is also why I'm a terrible admin. I'm more, listen, I'm very much a ask for forgiveness, not permission kind of person, where I'm like, hey, if the vibes call for like 10 people, every 10 people, and then it's like, oh, like, my bad kind of later. So, you know what, Nakkida, valid. I see why I, my style's a little, but I mean, it's like those rules exist for a reason, right? And it's like,
yeah.
And I do think a lot of situations then, if people take my approach and are too cavalier about it, yeah, it creates issues. But no, I really like what you said, which is that, yeah, we like people make mistakes and you sort of learn from it. It's like it's kind of like we're doing like not 24/7, but like a lot of improv every day. Some of the improv is not going to land. Sometimes we're going to screw up, and that's okay. Do you think we should just change the word ban and just call it something else? Like, I've always thought we should just change it from ban to suspension, because I feel like ban just makes it sound so harsh. Does that make sense?
Well,
Mother.
That is kind of what we call it now, like on the forums and stuff. A lot of the time, it is like a suspension, but I mean, obviously, it is still a quote unquote ban. But whatever word you use, I don't really think it matters that much. But maybe suspension does have less of a permanent feeling.
I mean, I'm just gonna call it what it is.
Yeah.
You got banned. It is what it is. Like,
And then how do you I mean, so this is another tricky thing, which is like, how do you, because you've also been doing just some phenomenal role play. I mean, I think a lot of people have said that, your role play on Tessa has been amazing. How do you balance? Yeah, how do you balance doing really good role play and also being an admin? Asking from someone who could not balance doing good role play and being an admin.
It's hard. You have to set very strict boundaries with the people that you roleplay with sometimes, because occasionally there's a line that you have to like put in front of people, because for me, if I'm setting an example for other people, I can't be going around doing dumb stuff and then let my friends go around doing dumb stuff. And that's something I think the clowns have kind of learned when interacting with me. Like, if I say don't do something more than once, it generally means we probably ought to stop, because I'm a little bit like, I don't want anyone getting in trouble, and I don't know all the time consistently what is and is not okay sometimes. Like, because, like you said, forgiveness over permission. Occasionally, sometimes the role play is going a certain direction, and it's okay to kind of push the limits a little bit. But also, occasionally, things get a little hairy, and we gotta be like, okay, oh, hold on, slow your roll, because I don't want anyone getting in trouble. That's my biggest thing, and I want to set people up for success. So when I'm with them, I do tend to sometimes have to, like, in character, be like, hey, maybe not. And that's not even just with the clowns either. That's like anyone I'm interacting with. So there is kind of a difficulty there for me, because like I have a hard time sometimes, like, just figuring that out, because it can be hard to navigate.
why does Chatty look so guilty, bro? I'm not. I just know what she's talking about, okay? Because it's the way she says it sometimes. It's just like,
Well,
hey guys. And it's just like, oh, she's using that voice. So
and I just
think
use
we
the
fucked up.
clowns. I just use the clowns as like an example, because I'm with the clowns like 24/7, so it's not exclusively a them thing. It's anybody on the server, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've told this story before, but I remember when I was made admin, it was right in the middle of the right at the start of the casino heist arc, and it was the Clean Boys versus Chain Gang. I've told people this all the time. Like, they used to like reports would come in and they'd be like, "Hey, we need to weigh in on this," and I'd be like, "Hey guys, I can't weigh in on this."
Yeah, and
You're conflicted.
that's
yeah.
sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, I was gonna say my work as an admin was, and Nakkida will vouch for this if you even remember at this time. I was like that guy where it's like you'd be on people know, like a work call, and then like at the end of the call I'd put, "Hey, nothing to add on my end." Like, that was me. Yeah, so I don't really.
But yeah, we're pretty consistent about, like, if I'm involved with something that goes on, and like maybe someone's got an issue with it or something like that, I don't get involved in that discussion. Like, to vote on someone's removal, or um like anything along those lines, I abstain from. Like, and that's for any other admin that may be involved in roleplay. And that's to keep the bias from interrupting what needs to happen. If something does need to happen. So there is that that I think NoPixel does very well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, even on my brief time as an admin, I was very impressed by, you know, as someone who has kind of gotten to see behind the scenes on that. I was very impressed actually with how it's operated. It was really cool. Okay, well, less on the admin side of stuff. You've gotten to now be in like I feel like, you know, your character Tessa Lamb has gotten to be in so many different arcs. I actually feel like as a character, you've gotten to have one of the most sort of multifaceted characters in sort of NoPixel lore. What is there a specific arc that you could point to that's like, that is my favorite arc? That's the one that I like.
Oh God. I knew you were gonna ask that question, and
Sorry.
I was like, no, it's okay.
That was a demo question, by the way. I stole it from
I
him.
was mulling it over, trying to figure out if there was like an actual arc that I can pinpoint that was my favorite, but it's so hard. Like,
Because she
I
has
don't
so
know.
many.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, and so many that were so good for their own reasons, and it's like one of the most difficult things to pick. Like I could name several that were like really fun for me and like really cool. But it's picking one over all the rest is impossible.
I got one for you then. Which one was the most stressful?
Ooh.
You're an evil man.
What do you mean?
You know which one.
You're not gonna tell me that the arc I did with
Uh-huh.
you is not the most
Uh-huh.
stressful one.
It is. It is,
Why?
yeah.
Why? Because you had to roll a dice.
You're an evil man. You are evil, and you know you are. That was
It-
an evil decision.
Someone had to do it.
Wait.
So
Yeah, give me a little bit of context here.
okay,
I don't know
so
this
for
full arc.
Tell you.
context, yeah, you go ahead, actually.
No, she could tell you because she's so dramatic about it, bro. It wasn't even that bad.
What do you mean?
Go ahead, Nakkida. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, this man's basically sent us on like a several months long arc trying to like unravel his character's like mental well-being, and he was like on a killing spree, and he killed people's friends, and he was going crazy, and we were like one of the only people able to get him back under control. And then he had us do a dice roll that had a perma chance on it, like a sicko.
And you knew that there was a permachance on it?
Yes.
Oh, I should have told her.
What was the dice roll? What were the outcomes for it?
There were 3 options. One of them, if I rolled lower than him, I would have to shoot him, which was the worst option. The second one, if I chose not to roll, he would call the police and claim he was going to shoot me, and then fight the police and potentially get killed that way. So there were 2 potential perma avenues there.
Right. So that was like, if he then
And
fought the
then-
police and got shot down, he'd have to roll again, and there was a
yeah,
perma condition
effectively,
there?
yeah. And then the third option was if I rolled higher than him, he would turn himself in and get arrested for the murders that he committed. So, yeah, that was like one of the most stressful things I've ever encountered in roleplay, like literally ever.
What?
But it was amazing. So, I mean, it turned out great.
Yeah, having a character's life on the line is like, that's terrifying.
I was gonna do it, bro. I was like ready. I was gonna perma.
Yeah. But that arc I think was the most stressful just because of that ending, I think. The rest of it wasn't really like world ending for me, but like if Chatterbox had died, I would have been so freaking sad. Like so sad. You don't understand.
We would have had more Dumbles.
Well, yeah, but Chatterbox.
Well, I have a question. Chatterbox. Okay. Let's say in another universe this did pan out and you perma'd Chatterbox. What would you have done?
I play him somewhere else.
Really?
Yep.
Like so you'd still play the character, but his story in NoPixel would be gone.
Over.
Or,
Done.
or over.
Yep. What would have been over?
What happens then when NoPixel 5.0 comes out or something like that?
That's the risk that I took. It is what it is. Can't bring him back. It's done, right? You perma, right? I was just like, fuck it. I was so like sucked into the cinema alley, right? Like and like taking risks. I was just like so dedicated to it that I didn't give a fuck. At the time, I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah. I did the same thing when Valkyrie was playing Raymond, and then we were on the coast, and like she did a roll there, and if she was gonna shoot me, I was gonna perma right there too. Like there was a few times where I was like, this might be it, just because the scene was so good. And I'm like, fuck.
Damn.
I was stressed too. I won't lie. I was stressed out about it too a little bit, right? But like, I was gonna honor it like 100%.
Because I listen. All I know is Nakkida has a better character than Tessa Lamb that she can always go to. That being,
oh my god,
Penelope Moore. Right? So
Yeah,
Nakkida, and her Twitch channel name is Nakkida. She can always go to Penelope Moore. What were you gonna do, buddy? Like rename the Twitch channel?
No, I got other characters, and when I want to play Chatterbox, play them somewhere else.
Damn.
Yep.
Honestly, respect for that. I mean, it's one of those where it's like I also believe you. You don't put that option out there and not be like ready to like go through with it. So damn.
Yeah, I made a pact with myself. I'm like, you're honoring this shit. Like, yeah.
Nakkida, have you ever had perma conditions for Tessa?
No, I don't think I actually ever have. I have conditions for a long-term, like, kind of shelving of the character, but not really any perma conditions per se. I have a very different outlook on permadeath in roleplay than I think some people do.
When you say long-term shelve the character, when you say long-term, what is long-term to you though? Months, weeks, days?
Maybe
year?
like a couple months, maybe. Roleplay moves very quickly, and people move on very quickly, and I think a couple months is probably the limit for people's memories.
So you said you have a different opinion then on perming. Can you expand on that?
I have seen enough on my time on the server to know that the vast majority of people that perma their characters, especially a main character that they play, regret it eventually. They have what I would only describe as like buyer's remorse for it. And we do get messages frequently from people saying, hey, can I bring so-and-so back? And like, that is unfortunate. And I hate that for them, like so much. And I do know that if I did that with Tessa, I would just nonstop be feeling that feeling, I think. So I just don't want to do it. And I don't know. I've seen it too many times.
God, Dimoka is so lucky he skipped this today. Oh, we could blast production for this.
Well, and then there's the other side of the coin where there's people that consistently make a character with the intent on eventually perming. And that I think is different because they kind of have that mindset going into it, which I did not with Tessa. Like I never had the thought of her dying in mind, and I think some people make their characters and they're like, wow, I could eventually just die. And I think Dimok is one of those people. A lot of people from like Wild RP, their community, have that mindset. And they make their characters with that in mind.
Nakkida,
Why are
Hmm.
you smiling?
did you ever know about Chatterbox's perma condition in 3.0?
Oh yeah, yeah, I
It
know.
was
I know. You're a sick man.
What was your perma condition in 3.0?
if Tessa shot Chatterbox, that was it. She was a cop, bro. There was one time where it was
I
like
think I heard
this
about
close.
this.
Yeah, it was like this close, and like we were like doing a holdout in the prison, and I heard Tessa's voice, and I'm like, I was just, all right, I'm done. Shit, I'm done. Because I didn't want to perma.
Damn. Well, you've caused
Yeah.
Nakkida a lot of stress. Geez, that's a yeah. I was gonna say, Nakkida, I'm curious about the like people messaging and regretting it because, that was literally dim. I basically, he's not here to defend himself, so this is the perfect time for me to explain this story of what happened with the character Breckers. Is so apparently Demo, coming from Wild RP, is known for making these characters that people really love and get attached to, and then he permas them. He's done this apparently several times. I was even getting messaged by other RPers that were like, "Oh, you got attached to a Demo character? Oh, classic. Like, sorry."
Mm-hmm.
But part of the reason why it was sort of a funny OOC reason why we didn't want to perma it, right, was because why we wanted to bring him back when he perma'd was because we weren't able to sort of do this like creating heist for other people arc. And then Buddha at some point was like, "Yo, Blowski, man, here, take a dev panel, have fun with it." And I was like, "All right, thanks, man." And then I was like, "Oh, cool, I can now do this arc." Wait, I need my like I need Dimok with me to like help me do this stuff because he's my pocket role player, and we all know I can't role play. So, what we basically figured was like, oh, this was like he kind of perma'd because we couldn't do that, and like it was sort of going to end our story arc there, and also because he's just dramatic. But it turned out he never actually perma'd the character. So we messaged Sab, we were like literally messaged the admins about it, and Sab's like, "Well, you never actually perma'd your character." I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And we at least had lore reasons that made sense, like continuity from like the company stuff. But yeah, I actually feel I agree with both the points of like sometimes it's not good to like perma something, but you know, one thing I do kind of like doing is I like ending certain arcs. So I wanted to ask you about this, Nakkida. What was the choice then to be like, hey, my character's like, even if I'm not gonna perma a character, I'm ending the like cop arc of Tessa, and I'm gonna now go on and do something else. I feel like that's a big swap to do, like cop to crim and vice versa.
Well, that's something that I had already done once before. I pivoted entirely. So if you watched like anything from like 2.0 onwards, you'll know that Tessa initially, before she became a cop, was a civ. And what I would describe to be one of the most pure civs you could be. So she would not even cross the crosswalks without the signal.
Whoa.
She was very straight laced. She did not break traffic laws. She followed the speed limit. She had a clean record for the entirety of her like stint as a civ. The only caveat to that was that she was a little stabby back then. And you know, people who know, you know, there's knowers out there, but Tessa stabbed like I think 7 people when she was a civ like that, and got away with it.
Yeah, straight and narrow civ
No
for
one
sure.
knew. No one knew.
No, but like I kind of love that of like having a character that's very like, you know, it's kind of nice to not just be like a criminal that speeds and shoots and robs and like does all this stuff. I love the idea of having like a very specific, like being straight edge, but then doing one specific thing that's like really fucked up. I kind of love that. Also, I was gonna say playing GTA, just the base game, but especially role play, and doing the like playing normally or playing as like a normal civilian. It has got to be playing the game on hard mode. Like that, it's
awful sometimes.
Yeah.
But that was where the driving school kind of came from. And if you know the lore, actually, Mr. Bojangles, Blue, was one of the main supporters of the start of the driving school. And he was one of Tessa's first students and little guinea pigs for that. So that's a cool memory that I have with him and stuff. But she eventually kind of got to a point where she was kind of done being used as a pawn for, huge terrorism sequences or being a hostage and being a bargaining chip. And through the role play that happened to her, she kind of started changing her worldviews on like what she was doing. And so at a certain point, she decided to pivot because some of her friends had decided to become cops and she'd watched them go through that. And they were the people that were there for her. And so I decided, what if I pivoted my character into a police role and kind of went away from this nice civilian / serial killer into police officer / serial killer.
Wait, you kept the serial killer part?
Oh, honey. Oh, honey.
Wait, I didn't know this.
Tessa was in cahoots with like Michael Simone. She had stuff going on. She put hits out for some people. Like, there was one moment, and I don't know if anyone's ever spoiled this for you, Blau, but you remember when you were going to go to the driving school and you rescheduled on us?
Yes. On Mickey, right? In 3.0?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
It's a good thing you rescheduled.
Why? Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. There was something going on during that like sequence of events, and I think there was a reason behind it. I can't remember what it was.
Oh my God.
We were absolutely going to take you somewhere and stab you. Like straight up. You were going to get stabbed. It was going to happen.
Wasn't this like all, it was like, there was like a joke about it that I would like literally call you and I kept rescheduling. And like we rescheduled multiple times. No? Like, why was I going to get stabbed? Do you remember why?
It had to have done with an animal. Because Tessa didn't do anything unless animals were brought up in some way. She still doesn't. But I think maybe it had something to do with Michael Simone's cat. He had a snow leopard. And you may have said something kind of unhinged. I don't remember exactly. I can't remember, but I know it had to have done something with an animal. Like, and that was around the time that Norman Bones had just resurfaced. And she had a long-standing agreement with him that if she ever did something again, he could be there. So it was going to be a whole scene. Like, it was going to be a thing.
Oh my
but
God.
I don't know if it was you rescheduling. I think it was actually you told someone where you would be and we got too spooked to do it. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And then the roleplay kind of moved away and we ended up not doing it ultimately. But that's been a thing that I've had like simmering for like a long time.
I've never learned this. Never got meted to me. I'm hearing this for the first time. That is wild. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Damn, Tessa lore is deep, bro. Holy shit.
Okay, I'll tell you then. So I'll give you some tea. Um, I had not met the character Tessa Lamb yet before I knew of the admin Nakkida. And I don't know why, but like, okay, now here, like, you have to understand this from my perspective. And I know you have like this, like, you know, like Lamb Discord profile picture that's kind of cutesy, and like, there's like a lot that's working against this narrative here. But let me try to paint you a narrative, right? I was new to role play. I was new playing in 3.0, and I just was hearing like, oh, admin, and then I heard Nakkida. And like Nakkida sounds like that's like some spooky shit. That sounds like some Slytherin, like, I don't know, dude. Your name like actually like kind of scared me. So of all of the like admins and like names that I knew, there was one that stuck with me, and it was Nakkida. Right? Like, am I crazy like hearing that? Like that's a scary fucking name. And I was terrified of you. And then I ran into you at some point on Tessa Lamb, right? And I remember, like, you know, because you have a really sweet, soft voice on Tessa, and it wasn't like a serious situation. And I remember, like, being like, oh, this is Nakkida. Oh, this is fine. Like, what? Like, because I was hearing your voice talking to you on Mickey, and I was like, oh, whatever. This is totally fine. And I remember I looked over at my chat, and my chat was just spamming Monka El Teso, and I was like, and it scared the shit out of me. Because it was like the whiplash of being scared of your name to being completely not scared of your voice to then just being terrified of my own chat's reaction. So anyways, that was my first impression of you. Thank you so much.
That reputation has been carefully curated over several years. And thank you for recognizing it.
Of course. Chatterbox, do you remember your first time ever running into Nakkida on Tessa or something else?
The farthest back I can remember is when Tessa came down to the cells when it was Coyle's character, Trooper Soze, I think you call him, was
yeah, Soze.
arresting Chatterbox, and they would always like, bro, they would just put you in a cell and they would like screw with my character for like an hour, like they just torture him. But it was really funny, right? But then Tessa would come down and be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Don't do that. She'd like try to like work with the character to try to like get him to like, you know, relax and like kind of cooperate more and stuff like that, which really worked. I remember that, but I didn't know who anybody was at that time. Like I didn't know Nakkida, Tessa. I didn't know any. It was a while before I even put it together, to be honest with you. Like, I think the only person I knew was Coyle. That was it. Literally.
I think when we initially met, I was not actually an admin. So that may have been part of it, yeah. Because I became an admin, I think, towards the end of 2.0 and going into 3.0.
Yeah, and it was like a month into 3 or a month or two into 3.0 is when I met you.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't.
Yeah.
Gosh, my earliest Chatterbox memory was running into him when he was wearing that like red like Wastelander outfit. And we had seen him in passing, and we kind of knew that he was a little bit crazy, so we kept our distance because, you know, we didn't really know who he was. But we ran into him at like an intersection or something, and I think we had a brief conversation, and that was enough for Tessa to be like, yep, that confirms my suspicions. He's crazy. I can fix him. And that was the end of that.
I can fix him is crazy.
Here we are several years later, still working on it.
For those who don't know, what is then the origin of Tessa becoming a clown? Like how did that arc manifest for you?
Oh Lord. That's a long-term thing, I think, that developed, I think, from the start of when we ran into each other that one time, because it just Tessa as a character definitely has a fixer mentality. And so when she sees a character like that, she's like, okay, I want to figure that person out. I want to know how they tick because maybe they're like me. And so she I don't really think got too involved with him right off the rip because there was other stuff going on. But when she did see him being mistreated in the cells, she would intervene. And she tried to like figure out why he was reacting the way he was rather than, um, you know, feeding into what the other officers were doing because that's just how she was. And she knew a little bit about him because I think through like the grapevine, she had heard that he'd been in Parsons for a stint because of some crazy stuff that he was doing. And she knew from other calls that had been responded to that he was kidnapping people at gunpoint and taking them to the fun house or like Grapeseed. I think that little arena um, was where he would bring people and have them like fight.
That was one time.
I,
So
it was one time.
I kidnapped
Yeah.
14 people by myself. All at the same time, all at once.
Was that the reason you got put in Parsons?
No, I got put in Parsons. I put Wrangler in a trunk when he was in a wheelchair.
That's funny. But yeah, she knew that he was doing that, and Tessa's defense mechanism, and this has been consistent since she was a Civ, is be nice to the guy with the gun. And that's been super consistent for her. She's nice to people who could hurt her. And that sometimes can backfire, but when it doesn't backfire, the benefits of that are immense and often hilarious. So Tessa had a lot of leeway with people that normally would not work with the police ever. And so she did the same thing that she normally did with everyone else with Chatterbox, and she got amazing results with him. And that was a relationship that she carefully like kind of kept going. And then I think over time they got to a point where it was not really just that, like mutually benefiting each other in just a superficial way, but there was a moment that was kind of like a turning point for their friendship when Tessa was going to use him to get Oxy when she was addicted.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
And she was having this conversation with him, and he didn't understand because Chatterbox was very innocent back then, and he didn't get like the deeper
Not innocent.
nuance.
Stupid.
I do love, by the way, that you roleplay Chatterbox that way, where like all people will like make references to certain things, and then chat like it's like I know you, the streamer, know, but like you'll just play dumb as the character. It is really funny, by the way. Sorry for interrupting. Continue.
And she realized partially through the conversation that he didn't understand, and she didn't want to use him that way. So she was pulling back, but as she started pulling back, he started pushing more to get information out of her, and him yelling that to her drew the attention of other people who then came over and realized what was actually happening, and they thought she was still trying to do it. So they pulled him away. It was Crane, actually, the judge, who pulled Chatterbox away and informed him of what was actually happening there. And then Tessa got pulled away by an officer that took her and got her help. But Chatterbox called her afterwards, and it was the most wholesome call I have ever experienced on like roleplay whatsoever. He said something like, I care about you and I don't want you to get hurt, but I won't let you hurt yourself that way. Like it was kind of something along those lines. I don't remember the exact quote, but he realized that she was doing something bad and he didn't want her to do it. And so he wasn't going to help her do that. But he was there for her anyway. And that, I think, was the moment where their friendship turned from like just mutually benefiting each other to like an actual friendship. And then over time, it just kind of went all straight uphill. And then,
Yep.
you know, the clown arc happened shortly after the Cornwood thing happened, which I don't know if you know what happened with Cornwood. and
Yeah,
Tessa.
there was like, I remember this being some arc. What was this arc?
Okay.
Funny as
So
fuck, dude.
this was around the time, like the start of 4.0. Tessa was going through it a little bit because she didn't really know where she fit in the world anymore. She came back after the government collapse, and she was still really damaged from what had happened with the events of Sanguine and, her transition from police officer to civilian again, because the events of Sanguine and everything in her police career had like put her in a really dark place. So she just didn't know where she fit. And while she was kind of discovering that, she was like dancing with the idea of like announcing that she's no longer a cop to the world. And what better way to do that than to hurt somebody very publicly? So she hired Chang Gang to kidnap Cornwood and bring him to her because of something that he'd done with a dolphin.
Oh my God, I
He
remember
had
watching this.
he had pulled a dolphin out of the ocean and brought it to a pool where it then died at a pool party because who knows why. Tessa was very upset. And then not only was she very upset, but then he looked her dead in the eye and said, "Well, the park rangers said it was okay." And she, like, brother, she about lost it in that moment and took everything that was in her to just not attack him right then and there. But she wanted to turn that into like an announcement to people. Like, hey, I'm not a cop anymore. And you're not gonna step on me. And that Cornwood situation was insanely mishandled. It was hilarious the way it got mishandled by the police, because they interrupted it while it was happening.
It was on the beach, right? I remember
Yeah.
this.
The police arrived as it was happening, saw Tessa standing there next to Cornwood with a knife, but
And
they chased CG instead and
yeah,
left Cornwood with Tessa on the beach.
I remember watching this clip. Yeah.
Holy
And
shit.
so she stabbed him. She got in her car, her little Glendale, and just drove away. And she was able to stash the knife, get all the way to Polito, change her clothes, walk out the door, get arrested walking out of her door. And not only did they not raid her, they also didn't subpoena her without her like hounding them to do so because she wanted to get caught, but she wanted to make them work for it. So I left a bunch of like little breadcrumbs everywhere along the line, and I was like rubbing their nose in it. And I was thinking at the time, in a sense, like how the PD used to be when I was a cop.
Right.
But things were so different with 4.0 at that time. And I realized at a certain point that I was being too much. Like there was just not enough resources for the PD to handle me doing all of what I did. And the investigative work was just not meeting what I was expecting. And so Tessa came to the realization that, well, if I'm just going to have to be really obvious about it, why don't I just stop being so secretive and mysterious and being a normal, like, criminal and just do everything blatantly? And what better group to do that with than the one I'd already had kind of an open invitation? And the group that I fit really well with already, and I knew and I really appreciated, and they accepted me joining like really easily. It was awesome. And there was a little bit of a learning curve for me because I had to figure out like what was okay to do and what was not, because going from uber mysterious hide all my crime to clown.
Yeah, Chatterbox
Getting
only
involved in-
snitches on his
Transition.
own people like all the time. Just because.
Yeah, so that was a definite switch up, but it was really fun, and I'm really happy with where things have gone and how the character has developed. She has changed a lot, but I don't think necessarily in a bad way. And I've really enjoyed it. I hope other people have too.
Yeah, I listen. I was gonna say on the you know, the once in a blue moon time when I actually role play instead of just hosting the podcast, and I actually wake Mickey up. The interactions I've had with Tessa now as a clown have been awesome. The and again, because you also you add like a little bit more. I've had to now think like there's a little more severity then to the character and some of the stuff I've been doing. The whole interaction you had with Mickey recently was really cool, and it's funny because I actually do I now have in the back of my mind. I mean, it's like a no. Like I'm not gonna tell you guys what I'm choosing, but I have in the back of the mind. I like the route of like being, maybe the more wholesome route. Like there's like an obvious wholesome route of Mickey's relationship with the clowns, where he does continue to help them and like mutually sort of beneficial way. There's also like a whole spicy using / betrayal route that I have. I haven't picked, by the way. I'm just saying, but yeah.
No leaks.
No, but I mean, I think because of interactions like that, you give other characters the chance to like make then those big decisions for themselves. Those big sort of character defining moments, which is like, oh, I'm either going to ally myself with this group, or I'm going to leave the cops or stuff like that. So I think having, and to your point, it's like a good way of like, instead of permaing a character, just remake the character in a new context is I think a cool way to do it.
That's effectively what I've done like 3 times at this point. Even I would even say 4 times, given how she was at the start of 4.0 and how she is now. I'm not afraid to pivot her direction based on the roleplay that's happening to me. But I do, obviously there's stuff that I find more fun than other things. Like right now, I wouldn't really want to pivot and go back to cop. Like I don't think I would enjoy that very much, and it wouldn't really make sense. So I try to make sure that whatever I do with her makes sense.
Okay, well, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't care about Mickey. I don't care about clowns. Don't care about Chatterbox. Don't care about Tessa. What I want to know, Penelope Moore. When is this character coming back? When can I listen? My rule right now is I am not waking up December until Penelope Moore comes back. I literally.
Well, okay.
I have this is a whole thing. I literally have shelved the character until Penelope Moore comes back. Not even related to it's like one of those things. It's not even related to the Foos sisters anymore. I don't even need to wait for April and January. It's like that all the Fooses could wake up. I still will not wake up December until Penelope comes back. So
Nakkida, keep in mind we need Mickey for the 19th. Okay.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay. Just so you know.
Well, I could do something really funny, couldn't I?
Just saying, on the 19th, you have the chance to do the funniest thing ever. No, I actually
stressing who out?
Exactly. Dude, I genuinely think that was I have never like laughed so much interacting with a character. And like I don't know. It also, and by the way, as a note, I actually think Penelope brought out some of the best role play I've done on December and made him lean into just being the absolute like abomination of like a tech finance bro that he is, right? So yeah, I think it was really good to like I don't know, playing characters that then bring out other people's role play. So
that's kind of all of my characters, really. I don't really have any characters that are like meant to be the main character in a situation. And I try to make like supporting roles when I do make a new character. And that was actually the creation of Penny, was to join Milton Pike's character, Merlin Derlin, and Djibouti's character. Oh God, what was his name? Derek. and they would do one-off like episodic things where they would collect a group of adventurers and go to like random spots around the map and do D&D, like little one-shot role play LARPing adventures. And that was the creation of Penny Moore.
That's amazing.
So I will play her kind of whenever I maybe don't have something going on with Tessa, or if maybe Tessa's injured. That's typically when I'll play other characters.
Whoa.
Is when what?
Excuse me?
What?
Chat wants to know when Nakkida's Durag character is coming to life. And they all want to hear your Durag voice, Nakkida.
Oh God, I don't.
They all
I
want to
don't think
hear.
I'm
Look at
ready.
chat now. Look, take a look at chat right now. Look at that.
I wanted to yesterday, but she's made. I'll tell you that much. She exists.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, that's a big
name?
step.
I wanted
get a
to
leak?
yesterday, but I just voices with characters. I have a very hard time getting over the hump of like settling into a voice, and I don't know why.
All you gotta do just start throwing shit. Like like if you could picture, if you could hear your character right now, just try to mimic it.
I'm embarrassed. I don't want to.
Do you hear how a lot of us talk every day?
I know.
Kidding me? I go from this like this. You get like this, you fucking clan bitch. Come on,
brother.
I don't know how you maintain your voice so long. By the way, that's another thing. That's wild.
I had an existential crisis in the apartments before I brought out Jungle's Fumbles. Okay, I need you to understand this is like a mental thing that I gotta get over.
Just because of the voice?
Yeah, and it wasn't like I made chat because I didn't want to do it because I couldn't do it, but I made chat like collect me voice clips of Donnie from the Wild Thornberries so that I could just use my soundboard for that, because I couldn't get over this like panic that I was having over the voice for Jungle's Fumbles, and that's how he became what he is.
Can we try something?
So what?
You just talk like try going like just go, hey, how you doing?
No.
Like a deep raspy kind of voice.
No.
Because that might be your calling on this one.
I don't think I can. I gotta sit down and like really figure something out for myself before I can actually jump into that.
You can do it.
Have you guys?
I will. I promise I will. It's something that I have promised people that I would do. It's kind of an ode thing at this point, so I will do it. I gotta get over it.
Okay.
Do you?
Fair enough.
I have a question. Tessa, or Nakkida, do you practice voices for characters? Like if you're thinking of a new characters that are like, oh, I think this voice fits with them. Do you ever practice them on your own?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I need to do for the drag, and I just haven't sat down and done it. All of my characters that I have actually have unique voices. So I do voice act for all of them except for one. There's one that I use a voice changer on. Well, actually, I guess two because of Jungles, but that one's not really voice acting. The one that I use a voice changer for is the the rat, and it's to make a chipmunk voice, and that's like an internal voice only. It's not something that I like talk on.
It's more for your POV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'm curious if you guys have ever there have been accents that I have done where I'm like, damn, that actually works really well, and I want to do that more as a character in role play. And then there's been other times though where I've tried to do an accent and it just didn't work. I literally had a whole character that I just could not break. I would just keep breaking out of an Australian accent. It was really bad. And
oh my God.
I had, yeah.
Why is that so hard?
Yeah, Australian accents are just impossible. I don't know why. And then
I can't do them.
Yeah, I can't do it. And then the funniest thing that I realized is I could just do the same character This is basically what I learned. I did this long stint with Kyle and Jenny Bear. We were playing Schedule 1, and I realized the character that I was playing there could just be my character Jesse. The new character is basically play the same role. I wanted like just like a grimy street level crim, and so I had this character Jesse with an Australian accent I couldn't do, and then I played this character in Schedule 1 called Lil Pez LP, and it was the easiest voice to do. To be fair, some of it's kind of my own voice, but then just I don't know. I don't even know. It's really degenerate.
I want to hear it. Can I hear it?
Lil P is just like, shit, man. Type shit. Yeah. Mr. Kyle, man. Fuck. He's basically just a piece of shit stoner. It's literally just my voice. I'm like, yeah. Shit. And like, there's like a little bit of inspiration from Ellum being a 30-year-old man who still says type shit. I'll admit. No, I'm serious. It's like
Type shit.
No, I literally the characters will just be like, yo, type shit on God, type shit. Fuck.
Bro, he's the type of guy that walk around and be like, yo, TBH, bro. Like, saying all those things.
Type shit. I still am waiting for us to do a pirate game though. Because
I'll run Sea of Thieves.
You will?
I would.
Nakkida, do you play Sea of Thieves?
I don't actually. I have this thing with water.
Oh my God! Wait, someone mentioned this to me. Someone in chat said if you're doing the boat thing, and Tessa's there, just be aware Nakkida has thalassophobia.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Is that what that is?
Well, I kind of have it in like two different ways. It's sort of complicated. I think the worst one for me is submechanophobia, and that's the fear of sunken objects in the water. So like I have a very hard time with that kind of stuff.
That makes pirate stuff very difficult.
Yes. Shipwrecks, ship propellers. It's a completely irrational fear, and I can't explain to you how awful it is. Like Nate's here. He found out firsthand that I have this issue. Because he went to the sunken, like, I think it's a sunken plane. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a sunken plane
and he was trying to have an RP scene with me there where he was like underwater and he wanted me to put a scuba tank on and like go down there. And I like out of character wanted to throw up. I was so upset.
Yeah, I didn't know that was an out of character thing. I thought that was just like
so
a Tessa
bad
thing. Oh my God, I'm so happy you mentioned this.
Yeah. It's
I'm really gonna rethink my drag plan now.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Like I'll roll with it if people like if I'm forced into that situation, but like
I won't do it. I'll do something else.
There's times where it's really bad and times where it's not so bad. Like if it's to like rescue someone, I try to like force myself through it. But there are times when there's like added stressors that make it worse, which the Nate situation was so much worse because he like played a sound as soon as I went under and I was like looking down in the water and I was already on edge and he played a noise and I like noped out of the water so fast. I couldn't get back in because it was just I couldn't. There was too much. And I can't explain it. It's completely irrational and the stupidest thing I can imagine, but it's been with me forever.
So you were struggling when Burns sent Chatterbox into the ocean. You had to swim around looking for. Oh man! And you guys were in there for a while.
Thankfully, there was not a lot of like sunken stuff. And like we couldn't see you in the box or anything, like that would have freaked me out. I know that for a fact.
So how are you? Like, can you watch movies that are like underwater movies?
I have a hard time with it.
So like, do you ever watch Nemo?
Yeah, Finding Nemo was okay. But there is a scene in Finding Nemo that bothers me, and it's the one at like the end of the movie, kind of where there's the fish in the net. And it's like close to the pier and like the docks and stuff because sunken objects in the water
Yeah.
gives me an unsettling feeling.
Makes sense.
Can't explain why.
Like,
I can go to aquariums now though. I am able to go to aquariums, but like there's some moments where Harms has to like pull me through because I can't anymore.
So above water, you're fine. Like, let's say you're on a boat, like you're good.
I typically avoid boats, but yes, I'm good with that. I can be on a dock as long as it's not too sketchy.
Wow. Okay.
We had a moment kind of at the beach somewhat recently where it was a really sketchy dock, and I froze at the end of it, and I had to have someone like hold my hand and pull me away because I couldn't move. So it's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's weird.
I mean, I will say having obviously it's like, you know, not a good thing to have, but of ones to have, like yours is kind of cool. If that makes sense, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
stupid, but yeah.
I'm trying to look on the bright. It's like that's kind of like a cool one. Sunken objects. Oh shit! Right.
A lot of horror games really pick at that fear.
Yeah, and it's like it's also one of those where it's like you said, it's irrational, but there's like a bit of rational. It's not like I think it unsettles a lot of people. It sounds like it just unsettles you to a like much bigger degree, right? Is kind of like, you know, like it's like mildly unsettling for some people, or like probably for most people even.
I think it kind of stems from a moment when I was a kid when my aunt took me out of my dad's Sea-Doo and we flipped at the like far side of the lake. And that was where all the sunken logs and big boulders and things were sticking out of the water. And we had to swim back because she couldn't flip it back over. And so I was
that's
this
scary.
was during my formative years, and I was so young that I was young enough that when she went under the water and came up, I'd never seen her with her hair wet. So she looked like an alien to me. And I just remember seeing her face, not recognizing her, and just crying the entire way.
Oh, shit.
So that's like a core memory for me, and I think that's probably what
did it.
Started this for me. But that's the only thing I can really think of.
What about you, Chatterbox? Do you have any fears of things that do you think might be more than the normal range of people?
No, not really. I never really used to like the ocean very much, but like not to the point where it's like can't go there, right? Like, I went to Portugal because my grandparents, my dad's side's all from there, and then this guy was like, my grandpa's like, yeah, you're going with Jose onto the boat today, and you're going out in the ocean, and I was kind of like, no, I ain't, and they're like, yeah, you are. I'm like, okay, I guess I am. So we took a boat ride like far, dude. Like you could barely see the island. It's just blue, right? And he goes, jump in. And I'm like, I beg your pardon? He's like, yeah, jump in the water. We're not going back until you jump in the water. Bro, you can see whales and stuff like out in the distance. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. And he just sat down. And he's like, well, we're staying here. So he made us like jump in and swim around for a while. Ooh. And bro, it actually was the best thing I ever did. Not scared of the ocean at all anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought your irrational fear was going to be of having Vezina trophy winning goalies who can't carry you in the playoffs.
I will mauled on stream. I will mauled.
Hey, he won. You guys have the best goal. You guys have the best goalie.
Oh, yeah, he was so great in round one of the fucking
Someone
playoffs,
start the timer in chat. Thanks. Nakkida, for context, Chatterbox's team, the Winnipeg Jets, notably has consistently the best goalie in the NHL, at least any time that it doesn't matter, which is the regular season. Connor Hellebuck, who then shits the bed every time it comes to the playoffs and consistently disappoints him. The
playoffs start, and he's just like, go ahead, throw him by me. I don't care. That's what he does, and it's just like.
And pause, because we have the timer going. I can briefly say this, and this is something that Nakkida can join in on and bash this guy for too. Can we talk? I just learned this. XQC is a Florida Panthers fan. I'm sorry. By the way, I'm not playing on NoPixel anymore. I'm protesting NoPixel until I learn more. I'm done.
Isn't this guy from Quebec?
Yeah, well, exactly. Not only do you think he'd be a Montreal fan, but like I swear, of any team to root for, if you're a Canadian, why would you root for the Florida Panthers?
You know what it is? I know. You know what it is? I bet you any team that's doing good, he's just like, that's my team. This is my team. That's probably what he's doing, bro. I bet you he probably doesn't even know any players on the Florida Panthers, bro. He's probably just like, yeah.
No, he was
That's
actually
what it is, man.
He was actually at one of the games. He posted on his Instagram story. I was jealous.
I can't believe it, dude.
Nakkida,
I can't believe it.
Me and Chatterbox had a deal that if either of our teams made the Stanley Cup Finals, we would fly out for a game to go watch. But
Oh man,
and then we
We're both
cursed
very
it.
disappointed.
that'd be fun.
Yeah,
It would have been.
it would have been.
Thanks for reminding us how fun it would have been. Yeah, that's.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, sorry. I don't know. I don't know things.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, well, I had a better chance of getting him to come to Canada, but you know.
Yeah, actually, realistically, and well, I have two teams. My main team's never making it. Oh my god, the Blackhawks. No. Anyways,
Dude.
that does it for our 5 minutes of hockey talk. Thank you guys so much for that little section. Break from that. What were we talking about before that?
Where's Fears? Fears.
Oh, fears. Nakkida, I was gonna say I do have a kind of a. It's like a thing that some people are afraid of. I just happen to be more afraid of it, and in a very specific way. I have a weird. Actually, I've never even told my stream this. I have a weird fear of blood. But it has to be on me.
Really?
Even your blood?
It has to be my blood on me.
So if I walk up to you and I'm all bloody, you're good.
I'm totally fine. I can.
And if
watch,
you look at your hand and you got blood on your hand,
from
you.
Okay, this is where it gets a little bizarre. If it's blood on my hand, I have no problem. If I ever have blood on my like torso, and it's my blood, I freak out.
Really?
Yeah. It came from when I was first diagnosed with diabetes. I distinctly remember this as I was first diagnosed with diabetes, and there was a nurse that was taking my blood, but it was like one of those like newer nurses. She was really cute, by the way. Like I remember I had a big crush on her, but she was like new and like didn't really know what she was doing. And I don't even know what it was, but like she didn't like close off the valve, or she didn't close something off and walked away. And my blood like started like pulsing out of my arm, like onto my body. And so, yeah. And so like to this day, but then what's weird is to this day, like if I get cuts on my leg, no problem. If I get blood if it's my blood and it's on my face, or like on my hands, no problem. If it's my own blood on my torso, I freak out.
So
if someone else's blood is on my torso, I don't freak out.
So if you're just sitting in a chair and you have a nosebleed and it drips on your leg, you're gonna freak.
I have a question.
Wait, yeah, what?
How do you know that?
How do I know what?
Are you good?
She's right. How do you know that you're fine if someone else's blood is on your fucking torso?
I don't want to explain. Okay, there's a like. Okay, pause. There's a really obvious answer to that. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
I don't want to. Like, you know, it's like one of those where it's like obviously I'm going to encounter that in a very obvious way at some point, and I was like, oh yeah, that's fine, because it wasn't my blood. So I didn't kill anyone. Shit, I did murder something. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. That was sorry. Well, you asked. Like, it's like, okay.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, my own blood on my torso freaks me out. Okay, that it's a very weird. Sorry.
Okay, bro. I'm learning too much.
You were right. It's very specific.
Yeah, I know. I know. Okay, to be fair, I get why you asked the question, because unless you think about that, you're like, wait, why the fuck would you know about someone else's blood on you? I thought you were gonna drop like, oh, I was playing sports when I was 7,
and I kicked some kid in the face with my cleats, and he fell on me, like
I thought there was a story. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, sorry. I didn't know how to like. Okay, well, I've gone through that embarrassing. Okay, NoPixel roleplay has really come a long way in the. Oh, actually, I do have a spicy transition question for you. Nakkida, you can make one major rule change to NoPixel. They give you giga admin power, and you're allowed to just make a spicy rule change. What would you change, or like add, or remove?
Oh gosh. I'll be honest, I don't know. I've never really thought about that because like a lot of the stuff that I've ever had like issue with in the past has kind of been changed. Um
Is there like something you'd want to try? Like, oh, I'd want to test this sort of rule change.
huh.
I got one.
That's a good question. Yeah, you go ahead. I'm gonna think on that.
Go for it.
No rule of 6 if it's not a mechanical job.
That was kind of what I was gonna go with. I'm not gonna lie.
I actually agree. Yeah, no, like I think it's like I think you guys have probably encountered this more and more where it's like the nature of the scene and the like role play makes sense to have more people involved, or even just the nature of including people. And it's like I do feel like the rule of 6 is very much for certain like criminal jobs or like gang on gang conflict. And even those, I think, I even think you could be like, even come up with a like, I think there should be a like structure of what you could call small job, big job, and then like, I don't know, open, right? Small being like, I think it should be limited to 4, big limited to 6, and then open is like whatever. I think it would be a cool way to do that. But again, it's like just making sure everyone knows what that is.
Yeah. It'd be probably a difficult thing to police a little bit, but at first anyway. But anything, Nakkida?
I mean, I think that really is the only thing that's kind of come to mind recently for me. Because I do find us kind of consistently encountering that lately. And I do find myself thinking, it wouldn't be too harmful to allow like, one extra person to do something, but I understand as well why the rule is in place and why other
Yeah.
people might feel a certain type of way about that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What I don't ever want to see happen is going back to rule of 4. I flat out never want to see that ever.
Yeah, me
But
neither.
that's my personal opinion. I personally don't think it would be fun. There are people who feel very strongly in the other direction. Because they think that rule of 4 is good, but I personally really like rule of 6. I think we've done really well with it. And it hasn't been really that much of an issue, in my opinion. But I don't
know a
know.
rule to add. The car swap rule. You can car swap, but you start your job with any vehicle you want. But every car swap from that point, from when you start, local cars only. No supercar swaps, none of that shit. It's only local cars. That would be so much better because it really slows things down. Because you start with your advantage, but then you're turning it down to like, because you have the ability to keep car swapping all the time, right? But you're not always going to be doing it in these like super OP cars and shit like that. It would help really tone things down a bit and make things a little bit more even on an even playing field.
Yeah, I would even one up that and just say like, and I know like a lot of the fun of GTA is driving around in like your fast souped up car, but I can never get over people doing it's really for some reason it's really immersion breaking of doing a job in like a car you own that will come back to you. Like that's so weird to me. And I know part of this though does exist because like local cars poof, but I love it when people do jobs and like actually funny enough, Nakkida, I watched a clip of this and it was sick. Granted, it was a car you guys owned, but like it wasn't some supercar. You guys were in the clown van and the back doors were listen, I will always defend anyone when the back doors of a van are open and you have I normally don't like shooting in GTA. I think it's kind of scuffy.
Oh no.
Dude, that was so sick where you were shooting the class 2 with the cops outside the
I didn't want to.
Yeah, but that was sick. It's cinematic.
They just started mag dumping us and we're like, yo, we have to shoot.
Yeah. I normally try to wait like as long as I possibly can before actually shooting, but Chatterbox had said it like 3 times, guys, we gotta shoot back. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna shoot back. If he has to say this one more time, it's gonna be like it's on me at that point, you know? So then I opened the thing and I was like, I started blasting.
It's really funny to me though that like when I actually say guys shoot, everybody's like, really? Like no one even does it. Everybody's just like, what? We're shooting? That's how often we do it, man. Never.
Yeah, I mean it's like but I agree with like the car thing. This isn't even a rule. Sorry, this is just now a random mechanic that I've always really wanted them to add. I want D20 added in as a hotkey for NoPixel.
What's D20?
Like rolling a D20. Like rolling a dice.
Oh.
But not have it appear as like sometimes it's like, because it's like, okay, when you do it, like there's an animation, right? And they're like rolling the dice and like that. I wish there was literally a hotkey.
There's private roles now.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and no one can see your roll but you.
Yep.
Do you still do the animation?
I don't think so, no.
Oh. But I guess what I want is I almost want like a public role, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying everyone would have to go along with it, but like one of my favorite scenes, I forgot which cop it was. They jumped on a jet ski with Mickey. And they were like trying to and they slash Mead like tries to wrestle Mickey off. And we both did a dice. But again, it's like I had to stop the car and then like roll, like, type out like a, slash roll 120 and like do all that. And I beat him in the roll. And what was cool is like literally the animation while you're driving for like, I was like, he like flung himself off. Like I had won it. Right. I think it'd be really cool for people that want to do that, to basically add in like a quick hotkey that like, I'm serious, where it's like literally you could hotkey a button, press the button, and then it will show a number above your head from 1 to 20.
Right.
I think that'd be sick.
That would be sick, actually. What the? I never really thought of that. That's actually, yeah.
I get that it's really close. You could always bind the like, I guess there's a way you could always bind the roll 120, but like, I don't know, just the like dice rolling animation like takes me out. I just want to like see the number and then like know like what action occurred. Anyways, that's not a rule change. That's just something I want to see. Sorry.
Dude, I'm with that though. That's actually like a really good idea. But there's a lot of, I mean, I have a lot of opinions on rules and stuff like that, but a lot of them I won't share because it might spark a bad conversation. But
what are some? Okay, let me frame a question then. What are some that you could share that would spark a good conversation?
I don't know, because it's such a divided community, bro, with like what people view as good or bad.
What's something that you could share in a way that would help us be less divided? You can't just tease us like this, Listen, I'm all for bringing the communities all together. We all hold hands, we sing Kumbaya, but sometimes we gotta We got to speak things, speak our truths.
He's weighing his options so hard right now.
Maybe I save these ones for like
Do a dice roll for it.
You want me to do a dice roll for
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I'll roll a 20 if I get 10 or higher. I'll just send it.
Okay. And if you get a 20, you have to full send it. What'd you get?
A 20. I got a 3.
Okay, never mind. All right, we don't talk about it. All right, wonderful. All right, move on. We go by the heart of the dice.
I'll save them. I'll save them because there's a time and a place for these ones. I think. Depending on who you get on here. If you catch my drift, there's a time and a place.
Okay, got it. Let me hit up Coil and Buddha and get them on. Coil's been on before,
and he's blunt.
Coil's very. Listen,
he's very blunt.
Coil like tends to like be pretty good about listening to feedback about a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I've even just seen, and Nakkida, I'm curious your thoughts. But like, I have seen just the NoPixel in particular has done a good job of sort of evolving over the years based on feedback of like when major issues arise, they do a good job about responding to it. Sometimes too slow, but sometimes they typically do get around to stuff.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody even knows this, but I don't know if I was just being baited, but somebody on Twitter this morning said, NoPixel did an update that you can't jump and run anymore.
From what I understand, I don't think that was intentional, like fully the way it happened. But I don't,
okay.
I don't fully know the like details yet. I think it may have been like something that was implemented, but it was messed up, like bugged out.
Yeah, I think it was they were trying a change and it got bugged.
How can you not run and jump? I'm like, what are they trying to do?
I actually, by the way, I actually wish NoPixel would do this more, which is try things, just do various changes and shifts just to see like, and I think we as the like players and the role players should be more like, okay, like letting certain things be tested. I think that's, I don't know. That's like, guys, I agree. I used to be a game dev. I'm not anymore. I'm completely washed. But if I was still a game dev, I would love the idea of like actively testing stuff more.
It seems like there's a lot of like, they do a lot of trying things, right? But it's a lot of nerfs that they try, right? And not enough buffs in a lot of things, right? There's a lot of buffs for cops, right? But there's not enough buffs on the other side of things, which, in my opinion, definitely should be tried more, right? Because I am a firm believer that cops should not be buffed. They should have a lot of resources and stuff, but not necessarily too buffed, because it just makes things a little too difficult, right? And then it pisses crims off, and then the tryhard crims are like, now we're gonna go to the extreme, and then it's just like, we're all gonna suffer because of this shit. Which now we have the result of that.
I think one thing I would really like to see, especially from the overarching community, is like when a change does get added and they are testing things and they are trying things, please don't just immediately assume it's malicious.
People get mad.
People get mad, and there's like a lot of anger, vitriol, unnecessarily towards devs, towards admins. Like, just give it a minute. If it's messed up, it's messed up. Let them fix it. Sometimes that takes a minute. It's not instant. We can't just like immediately undo something. And I think a lot of what has gone on throughout the years is just something gets changed and there's like a huge knee-jerk reaction immediately from people. And yeah, sometimes that is the reason why things get changed back, because, you know, obviously people don't like it. But also, a lot of the time, it's not even intentional. Like it wasn't an intentional change. It was like an error that was made. And, you know, the devs may not even be aware of it right away. And there's also a lot of times when someone will approach me in character about like a bug that's been happening. And I'm like, honey, I'm not the guy you need to be talking to. And I'll ask them straight up, like, have you contacted Bug Stars? And they're like, well, no. It's like, what do you want me to do about it then? So, you know, I have a channel where I can access, you know, things and let the devs know what's going on. And a lot of the time it gets live fixed right then and there. Like it just gets immediately resolved.
Well,
Because they're paying attention. They just need to be let know.
well, there's one update they dropped that I was mad. I'm still mad about, even though it's a long time ago.
The debtor's prison
Aw.
one.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, buddy.
I was pissed. Didn't last long though, did it?
No.
But they tried it.
I think
And
I think it's also okay to like. I think it is okay to release things that aren't good and then fix them. Guys, listen. Once again, I used to be a game dev. I worked at Riot. Let me tell you about some of the champions we released. Like we made some crap. We did some shit. You know, we still did. I worked at Riot when we released Yumi. Like think about that. You know, I have to live with that. Okay, so
I don't know any of these references because I've never.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Played.
I quit League before that.
Yeah, good. No, but no, I think the NoPixel devs and just the team in general should be given a little bit more leeway with stuff. I don't know. I do have this question for you, Nakkida. I've been asking all the guests this. GTA 6. What would you want to see in that? Like, what attention would you want Rockstar to give to that for roleplay? Like, what sorts of ways in which you would want to see like roleplay play out in the world of GTA 6? Is that on your mind? Have you thought about that at all?
Gosh, not really. I mean, the main thing that I'm excited about for GTA 6 is the Everglades, and the wildlife and all that, because the way that Rockstar worked with Red Dead, oh my God, that world feels so alive, and I'm so excited to see what they do with the Everglades and like just that environment, because I can't go there myself. Like I don't really travel very much, but I love reptiles. I love the concept. Sorry about my dog. I love the concept of the Everglades being in a game where I can just like kind of go and explore and like just I don't know, feel like that guy on YouTube that yoinks snakes out of the water.
You would be the perfect Florida man. Like I want
Oh
you
my
to,
God.
you know what I mean? I want to see Tessa in the Tessa that I'm imagining in GTA 6 is like way more country and is just like out in the Everglades. Like, I don't know, like in like all camo.
Riding a crocodile driven chariot or
yeah,
something.
like in all camo, just I don't know, like Swamp Queen Tessa, like true Florida man style.
That would be cool.
I just hope there's a lot of different wildlife. That's my main thing, because like I interact with that a lot in roleplay, and like I don't think a lot of people really focus on that very often.
It's
But
really
in Red Dead-
sporadic in GTA 5.
Yeah. And it's kind of unfortunate because a lot of people, the only interaction they have with the wildlife is like they kill it because haha, it's funny, I kill animal. Like that's all they do. But like I really have fun with that kind of stuff. And so I'm excited about it, and I think that'll be a lot of fun for me personally. But I just am excited to see how the world feels. Given that it's been so long since they designed GTA 5, and we've seen what they did with Red Dead and how just alive and breathing that world feels. I'm so excited and stoked to just get immersed in that environment. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
It's just so fresh, something new, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say from watching the trailer, Nakkida, it feels like that's kind of the direction they're going. Like they're like,
Yeah.
they're like, we really took inspiration from Red Dead 2, and we're like really tunneling in on we're gonna make this super immersive. Which again,
You
I
best
think
be able to walk in all those buildings, bro.
well, and I
Yeah.
think that's just going to make the role play way better. I think the direction they're going is going to really help the like role play. I think it's going to make I think it's going to help the like cinematic role play. I almost feel like if you were to like have like a slider scale of like, hey, this is just GTA Online pure chaotic action craziness, and like here's some pure cinematic role play. I think the direction that they've gone in the sandbox for GTA 6 feels like it's gonna really help the role play more. So
Yeah. And I think the fact that they're kind of aware of us now is super interesting too, because maybe they are designing things with that in mind. Like with Rockstar having purchased the like stuff for roleplay communities and stuff. That for me shows that they're at least paying attention.
Yeah, there's no
Over
denying that
here.
there's no denying that they know that a lot of the GTA sales, like the copies of the game being sold in the last several years, have been because of roleplay.
and then they also gifted subs at like didn't they do an event where they were like Rockstar was gifting subs?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like a roleplay only thing. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Guys, what if they're watching us?
That'd be cool.
I mean,
I hope they are.
okay, listen, again, I'm not
Bring
a
back
game
the clown mask, please.
I'm not a game dev, but if I was, I feel like if I was Rockstar, I would be, and again, there's like a good way and a bad way of doing this, but I feel like if I was Rockstar, I would want to support that because it's like a really cool. It's all like it's not just people like kind of modding your game; it's actually people like really transforming your game. I think in a way that feels authentic to what GTA is, right? Like the way like Rockstar is like, hey, here's this single player sandbox story. Like here's a story we wrote. And then it's like we go in there and we tell our own stories with our characters. I feel like it's like kind of authentic to what they do.
Yeah.
Rockstar, if you guys are listening to this, like hit us up,
Call me.
Call me. They're in the walls.
No, I'm not really worried about like the release of like what it's gonna be at all. Like, cause Rockstar is like one of those companies that's just like they've never let you down on any game they've given. Like every game that they've dropped has always been like, this is sick. You know what I mean? That's the way I personally feel anyway. I've never ever played a bad Rockstar game ever. Especially with their stories, dude. Oh my God.
Nakkida, how much were you into did you do much Red Dead RP?
Oh my God. I could go on for hours about how much I love Red Dead roleplay. I have
tell us, yeah.
I've played on Wild RP. I have a character over there. She is a farrier for horses, and she basically takes care of horse feet. And she has 2 black eyes that are permanent because she's not a good farrier.
So you got kicked by the horses.
Yeah, but I absolutely love Red Dead. I love the environment. I love the setting. I just I like Wild RP. I like the community. I like their culture over there. I always have fun when I go over. I've got friends that play over there, and I haven't really visited in a while because I have a hard time getting back into it sometimes after I've been away for a bit. Because number one, it's hard to explain like where you've been, but I have a story behind why I've been gone for so long, but also like there's a lot going on in GTA right now for me, and I'd rather focus on that and make sure that I'm there consistent. And um, yeah, I've played a lot on Wild RP, and I really like it over there. And oh yeah, the Oregon Trail events are so much fun. I missed the last couple, but if you ever get an opportunity to do one, absolutely take it.
What is it?
So basically they get a group of people, just a group of role players, and they get on Wild RP and they travel with a wagon from one point on the map all the way to the other side. And they have like a destination, but along the way there's like trials and tribulations we got to go through, and it's basically just the Oregon Trail.
That
And
actually sounds awesome.
Well, they call it the perma trail because
Oh.
the characters that we make, if you die, you're dead.
Oh.
So you could make a character that, you know, is destined to die of like the century, you know, like it could be anything. But you could also die to wolves. You could die to bandits on the road that come by, and like maybe someone gets taken hostage and they get shot somehow doing that and they're just gone. But like you never really know what's going to happen, because you could get attacked by animals and someone could just get killed immediately.
The animals in Red Dead are very vicious, right? Like,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a definitely PvE experience with some of the animals. The thing
And
that
you're limited to supplies and money and stuff.
the thing that me, Dimok, and Zetark actually have, we're still want to do it at some point this summer. What we want to do is actually kind of similar. We wanted to, whether it's Wild RP or any of the whatever server would facilitate this role play, we wanted to come in as outlaws already, like with 5-star wanted. Like we're like, you know, the lore would be that we are giga wanted, like dead or alive, and we would have to try to like, so kind of, yeah, literally Oregon Trail stuff. But instead of like we're people on the Oregon Trail, it's like we're outlaws that have to make it from point A to point B and avoid the law, and we are hella wanted, to the point that other criminals would want to turn us in as bounty hunters because there'd be an insane bounty on our head. Like we would come in with some crazy bounty, so anyone would want to like look for us, and it'd be us trying to like navigate through that on like One Life characters.
Well, what are the like go-to servers right now for Red Dead? Like, what are the like big servers for that? Because like when you think about like GTRP, you think about, well, Unscripted, Prodigy, NoPixel, right? What would it be for Red Dead right now?
There's Wild RP.
Wild is one, yeah.
Gold Rush.
Yeah, Gold Rush is one. There's also obviously Prodigy had one. I don't know if they still do.
I think they do.
And then there's a newer one.
But it's not out yet. Is it the one thing?
Not, I don't think
Outlaw
ready.
RP?
Yeah. So that one, I don't know if they're ready yet for people, but I think that one's probably going to be pretty big.
I'm waiting. I think I might wait for that one, and I want to do like a pretty deep arc into Red Dead RP. I'm just saying, guys, when you wrap up, you know, your old clown versus mime war thing going on, I'm just saying, hey, maybe arc after that is go out west. Where's my gun?
I won't say no. Oh, bro.
Scared my cleaners with this.
I always wanted to try it, but I had an issue with that salty chat or something they use for TeamSpeak. Wouldn't work for me, but I can't remember what server I was trying to get. I think it was the Prodigy one. KG was trying to get me to go on there with him, and the voice chat would not work. Fixed it, and then never actually attempted to play again. So I don't really know what happened with that. So I don't know. It's been a while, and I wiped my computer, so I don't even have TeamSpeak anymore. So I'm probably gonna have the same issues I did before. But I've always did want to try it. I just never got around to actually like giving it the full chance. Theo and Mungo both tried it, and they were playing, and then they came back with their. They played it for a week, and then they said, "Chatterbox, I don't think you're gonna like it." And I said, "Why?" And then they explained to me their entire experience on Wild. That it was hospital RP or just looking in the sky RP because they kept getting fucked up by animals. Like constantly.
I think it's like one of those things where it's like you almost need like a wave. Like we need a wave of like maybe like familiar role players, like people of like, you know, like maybe if, you know, maybe after say like, you know, there'll come a time where like whatever the next NoPixel 5.0 or whatever is announced, right? And there's like usually that downtime before a new server starts. Get like a wave of like more familiar NoPixel servers or like NoPixel players to go try out a Red Dead server. I feel like you kind of do need it in waves, you know?
Dude, are you still planning on doing that the +1 characters.
Oh yeah, we need to do that. Let's schedule it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, okay, Nakkida, when she was talking about like how Tessa used to be, like, you know, like speed limit, crosswalks. I was
Yep.
like, oh my God, this is what you were talking about. Like, last time we did the podcast, you were talking about doing the +1 characters and stuff like that.
Just a straight up normie.
Yeah, we're so me and Chatterbox are doing I had someone make a tool for me. It's like an overlay that will track the number of times people just type +1 in your chat or -1, and it will run a score for you. So me and Chatterbox are going to do ranked GTA roleplay, where we will compete in a head-to-head, you know, whatever it is, 1 hour, 2 hour long event of who can farm the most +1s. And you're right, I need to start doing a series out of this so I can get an actual ranking of who are the definitively best role players according to my completely, you know, high integrity system that definitely determines that. So
yeah, dude. Yeah, whenever. Yeah, I can't wait. There's something different that I need.
next week,
I'm down.
all right.
I'm gonna be
Down.
honest. I'm gonna be honest. If you guys get in a car and you have to drive the speed limit, I think it's gonna break you both.
I'll lock it in. Don't you worry.
Uh-huh.
I just
I'll
have to have
believe it
the
when I see it.
perfect character for it, you know?
Okay, Nakkida, we actually did do One Life characters that were regular guys that were working a job, and we got killed. I think Luciano killed us. We were delivering packages like around Christmas, and we got killed for it.
That was so much fun.
That was fun.
Make sure you bind your turn signals.
Oh no, turn signals.
I don't think there's a point. Most cars, they don't work.
Oh, they do.
What?
Oh no.
Oh, they do.
I was trying to do the hazard lights thing in some of my cars, but they didn't work. It worked on my club, but they don't work on any of my other vehicles. And they kind of work on the van. I think it just depends on the vehicle. Maybe all the rentals will be okay. Those are the ones we're gonna have to use anyway, because we steal a car. I mean, that's farming -1s.
Oh god. All right, role play 1v1s. Nakkida, you can verse the winner. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh my God, she's a sweat for the laws, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like a mixture of not just laws, but you gotta, there's other stuff you got. There's a lot to the farming of +1s.
I would open her stream in 3.0 sometimes. Like when I wasn't streaming, I'd just be like, "Oh, what's Nakkida doing?" She'd be fucking rolling around in her patrol car, doing the speed limit, stopping at the stoplights. Other cops are people are everywhere. She's just fucking. And I was just like, I remember one time specifically, I was like, you must be like, I thought at one point if you must have been a stoner or something. You were just getting high and role playing and just vibing. Because I know people that used to do that.
I'm trying to think like who I feel like Nakkida, you'd be one of the hardest people to go against, and then like it's also some of the people with crazy patience. Like I feel like Biotox on Bjorn would be really hard to 1v1 in that because he's very
And
good
Delver.
at just like taking his time.
You ever met roleplay with Delver?
Yeah.
That guy too, man. That guy too.
I had like an hour-long conversation one time about like adult adoption. And it was really funny because the next day he comes at me and he's like, he was so adamantly against it, and we just had a whole hour-long discussion. The next day he comes at me and he's like, "So I adopted someone." Because he like changed his mind and he was like, "Well, he changed my mind on this, so now I have a kid."
Oh my God, there was this
Oh, it
like
was so
time.
funny.
There was a time period where everyone was like there was this crazy like web of like people being related to other people in NoPixel. It was wild.
Everybody's just linked together in all these crazy ways.
There was a crazy web of it. Yeah, that was wild.
You know who I think would be a raid boss for this?
Who?
Charlie.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know why the hell I didn't think of that. She's like to the bone, like.
Oh yeah.
Like you're following that character stuff and it's just like slow and steady. Like she's like that. Yeah, that is like, yep.
Oh God, you know what? I think it was someone I was supposed like. This was like who inspired me to do it. Long story short, it's who I steal a lot of content from, but I was inspired to do this thing. By Foosley also. If you've ever seen her doing, she like does these like she would do this on April, like random like +1 like farming, like intros and outros for her character, with like sound effects and all this shit. That's who actually inspired me to make the +1 counter. So that's another one that's oh God, dude. Chatterbox, we're gonna have to get like soundboards for this. You realize we're gonna have to like there's a lot. You better be prepared.
I'll do my best.
Okay. We are now at that point in the podcast. We're wrapping things up now. Nakkida, this is our time where we open up the podcast because we are a live podcast. We open it up to the chat. Chat, you guys are allowed to ask your questions, give your hot takes, whatever you want, and we will respond to it or just completely ignore it. Nakkida, you are our guest, so you get to pick the first chatter, comment, question, hot take. Doesn't matter what it is. This is the interactive portion where we just get to grab stuff from chat, give your thoughts on it, react to it. Go. Anything.
Oh, there's a good one. Okay. What advice would you give to someone who might want to play a supportive role? That is actually a very good question because I think a lot of people struggle with that kind of thing because they don't really they kind of design their character with them in mind rather than other people. I would say to play a good supporting character, you kind of have to learn how to play off of other people the best you can. It takes a lot of improv. It takes a lot of yes and, which is something that I think starting out in roleplay is a very hard thing to do because some people go in and they're kind of limited by what they want to do rather than just kind of letting things go and seeing where other people take them. Because they have like maybe a destination in mind for their character. That might not be the best mentality if you want to play a supporting role. Because sometimes your destination is wherever the guy you're with is going. And that's okay, I think. And a lot of people kind of need to let that go in order to really unlock, well, in my opinion, what's some of the funnest roleplay avenues you can take. Because half the time, I have no idea where my character is going to go on a day-to-day. Like, I don't really start my days with a plan, ever. And so for me, I have my routine, and I go through it, and a lot of the time, I'll get interrupted by, the first person I run into. And that sort of dictates how my day will go. And you kind of have to be okay with that if you are a supporting character. Because sometimes it's a roller coaster. Sometimes you want off the roller coaster. And I see someone giggling to himself, knowing exactly what he's guilty of right now. But, it, in my opinion, is some of the funnest stuff you can get into is just going along with what another character is doing and seeing where you end up, because it can be really funny. And it gives you a story to then show to other people. And it develops your character's lore so much more without you even really having to do anything.
Oh God. Yeah, you can't make a plan. It just even if you did have a plan for the day.
Brother, I am a
Oh.
planner. Okay? I am a person. I'm a creature of habit. I need a plan when I'm going into things. And this has been one of the biggest hurdles for me with the clowns is like I will try to plan something and then just my whole day is just
It's ruined.
everything but whatever I wanted to do. Like I'll tell my chat, okay, I want to do this today. I'm gonna get this done and this done and this done. And then 5 minutes in, Chatterbox is kidnapped. Osvaldo's off shooting people. There's like 6 other clowns having a fight. I have to put out a fire somewhere. My car's blowing up. Like it's just you can't. There's no planning. And then we make a plan and then halfway through someone's like, "Well, let's do this instead." And it's like, "Okay, that's great. How do we plan around that now?"
Oh my
And
God.
I'm constantly having to try and work that around in my mind because, like, that's me as a person, not even just my character. Like, I have so much trouble getting around that sometimes because I need a plan. I need to know what's going on, and it's not something I can turn off either. So it definitely causes me some like, oh my God, what's going on? And I sometimes have to walk away because I get overwhelmed, but I always come back. And once I decide to let my plan go, I have so much more fun.
I love that as like a of like advice for supporting characters, like being like having that flexibility. That was great. Oh, the best answers we've had to like a chatter's comment. That was really good, Nakkida.
So thank you.
Chatterbox, I'll let you grab one. I just have to briefly grab one real fast. Okay. I want to be very clear. I did not call your wife fat and ugly. Okay. My character, Mickey, called your wife's character fat and ugly. Okay. Those are very different things.
Esmeralda?
Yeah.
Yo, fuck Esmeralda,
Yeah,
bro. Hell yeah. Stand on
exactly.
business, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, I don't know how to like. I don't know how to explain. Like Mickey is not a nice person. Like Mickey is. I literally one of my things I like doing on Mickey is I like just roasting people because I don't do it. I'm not gonna just go roast someone's appearance in real life. That's a horrible thing to do. Like only psychopaths do that. I like doing it on Mickey. I like to just cook people. So yeah, of course Mickey was sassy and mean to her, but it wasn't me.
Bro, my character's the same way to her because it's just like, this is how it is, man.
I will say it was a funny realization because I was like just cooking her, saying this awful shit, and that's like a classic, Mickey shit. And I'm like, like whatever. And my chat's like, yeah, that character's Chatterbox's wife, and I was like, Jesus God, fuck.
Okay, man. I guess I gotta be real with you. That's why I didn't go and see you in LA, bro, because I was ready to beat your ass, bro.
I knew it. I knew it. I was gonna have you guys. I was gonna try and get him to come out on the ice with me, but he's an old man.
Bro,
I'm older than you, right?
I'm 29.
Yeah, I'm older than you. Jesus.
Yeah, I wrecked my knee and it's still wrecked.
Nah, you can't be skating on a bad knee. Yeah, that's definitely
bad.
All right, what else are you guys seeing from the chat that you wanna grab? Chatterbox, you see any?
I just read one that was really fucked up.
Yeah.
Chatty, is there any habits from RP that you bring to daily life? I'm a lot more goofy with my kids. Like some of the stupid shit I do on the server, like when I'm with my kids, I'm like if we're outside or we're out doing something, I'm a lot more goofy with them. But like, other than that, not
Oh,
really. 'Cause,
wait,
like,
that's
yeah,
really
but
sweet.
yeah, other than that, not really. Like, because like I don't swear on Chatterbox, but bro, you can call me a trucker, like out of character, dude. Because like I swear like crazy. Just I try not to around my kids, obviously, but no, no, I don't really bring anything off the server other than just like I'm better at being a lot more like goofy and dumb because it's more fun like when I'm by myself with my kids, especially when Allie's
Well,
streaming and they're like driving me nuts. I'm a lot more creative these days on how to keep them busy.
What
I
about you,
think
Nakkida? Have you anything you've taken?
my perception of you is that I think you're probably just as much of a terrible prankster as Chatterbox is. 100%. Based on the
That's
stories I have heard from your travels, I feel like you are absolutely a prankster. And maybe
that
that's something that you bring into roleplay, not the
I
other way
bring yes,
around.
yes, yes.
So,
That's yes.
Oh,
and
Yeah,
that's not
I've always been
necessarily a
this
bad
way.
thing.
You should have seen me when I used to work construction. It was bad. Uh, it was yeah, it was bad. Like it's you go to work and people are miserable, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing today. Yeah, that's just part of me though. I was always like that. I've been like
Yeah.
that since I was like young, in school and everything. So it's why it's really easy for me to play this character because like it's just it's just an instinct for me to act like that when it comes to like pranks and you know tricking people and stuff.
Nakkida, what about you? Anything that you've like from roleplay that you've taken outside that for your daily life, like habits or like anything you've picked up from it?
Brother, I have actually unironically said yuck in my day to day, and I don't know what is wrong with me.
Oh no.
I am broken.
We
I
got
yeah,
another one. We got another
I'm
one.
broken officially. It's bad.
I've been I've heard that so many times. I'm just like, I'm getting people with this. This stuck. I never thought something like this would stick, but it's stuck.
Yeah, that's the reason I'll never make a clown. I don't want to do that.
But other than that, I don't know. Probably the animal thing. Although that's again like something that I bring into roleplay from out of character.
Is that like a
Like
cyclical
I'm
thing
the
you
same
think
way.
you?
I'm
completely
exactly like you
obsessed.
with that.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm like a big softy for animals too. That's why like when I start role playing, I like wouldn't even shoot the animals in the game because I felt bad for them.
I think mine is I have to confess something. Guys, I took Mickey and Brecker's abusive mentor-mentee relationship where Mickey has all the power over Breckers, and now I do that with Dimmock, and I just make Dimmock do work for me.
That's toxic, bro.
Yeah, I was like, hey man, you want to be a producer on my podcast? Make him go do that work. He's not here to defend himself, so this is even better. I've now made him help me with like 2 sponsors, and like he just goes and like records shit with me off stream. I've paid him, kind of, but it's mostly unpaid. But I'm basically like I take the Mickey Breckers dynamic and I get to like play it out with Dimmock. It's like now, yeah. It's like I have my pocket role player to like help me with other stuff now too. It's sick.
Bro, you're the type of guy that's like I could just see sitting there like, yeah, I kind of pay him. Yeah, like like I mean, what better payment than just to work with me?
Yeah.
Like,
It's payment. My presence is the present, really. Yeah. I think that's the only one.
Dude.
All right. What else from
Favorite characters to interact with outside the clowns? A lot of Hydra people, especially lately. The one who plays the guy that plays like that Mike Tyson sounded. I'm so bad with remembering names though. That the East Side Baller guy, the one that leads East Side Ballers now. Chat. Who is that? He has like the Mike Tyson tattoo and he puts that voice on. Andre, yo, that guy is awesome, and the people he has rolling with him are awesome. Kaiva's Go Postal character, awesome. Is it it's Sandy, right? Sandy from Go Postal?
I don't know. I don't
Sadie.
role play
Okay,
enough.
Sadie. Okay. I was looking at chat. You know, yeah, they know. She's been like for the very few characters, like very like to the T characters that we have running around. Those are quite a few. Um, Other than that, there's people I enjoy, but no one that like really comes to mind right now. It's like I know after this I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I should have said this, this, and this, but you know,
Yeah, that's always a tough question because it's
yeah.
kind of like who am I interacting with now versus like maybe I had people from a long time ago too that I want to think about. But me, I think throughout the years consistently, I've always answered this question the same, and I feel like it will always stand, and it is Milton on his character Kiki Chanel. Hands
Oh,
down, one of my favorite people on the planet, number one, and also one of my favorite characters. I think she's hilarious. I always have fun when I'm interacting with Milton. Doesn't really matter whether it's Kiki Chanel or any of his other characters, but God, I miss that guy.
it was always like always a positive. Every time he was around, it was always
Oh
a
my God.
positive environment. You know what I mean?
One of the nicest people on the planet. And like when I met him at TwitchCon, the first thing he did was like just engulf me in friendliness, and like he bought me drinks immediately. He was just so nice, dude. And
But you went to TwitchCon?
yeah,
Which
I
one?
I want to say 2018.
Oh, way before my time.
Oh yeah, it was pretty early on during like the original like boom during 2.0.
Mm,
And it was a lot of fun, and it was the only TwitchCon I've ever been to. But I came home incredibly sick because
oh.
we were definitely like at the bars, like there was cooties going around. We were sharing drinks, like it was, you know, debauchery. But um, it, I came back very sick, and then the next TwitchCon came around, and I think COVID kind of made me second guess a lot
Yeah.
as far as whether I wanted to travel and like go to a convention and stuff, because I still haven't had COVID. I have been
Me
very
neither.
cautious about it. I still mask when I go outside. Like I don't really take big risks. If I go to like a convention center, I try to wear a mask, and um, I actually haven't been sick, like sick in years because of how consistent I am about that. And people are like, "Oh, well, you don't need to wear a mask anymore." And I'm like, "Okay, I like not being sick.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It's working
valid.
for me, so
Valid.
leave me alone."
As someone
Yeah,
who's
well,
But
sick now,
yeah,
I refuse to wear a mask. Ain't no government gonna muzzle me.
yeah, but I
I
don't know.
tell
I
you what.
COVID like really kind of freaked me out, and for like travel and stuff, it's hard for me just to begin with because of my animals, and like I have a really hard time getting out of the house just in general because I have my dog, there's 4 cats here, I have my 20 crested geckos, and then my tortoise and my snake, and like it's a mess. And I don't want to have to like worry about all that when I'm out
that's
on a vacation, or
a
like
very good point.
it's very stressful.
Yeah.
Um I
Okay.
love traveling, but there's just that hurdle that I got to get over cuz like I got to find someone to take care of them.
Well, when you do, you heard it here first, you guys. This means she's coming to the very next TwitchCon after this one, right, Nakkida? Because then you have a whole year to plan something.
True.
Oh
Perfect.
boy.
And I won't be there because it's my last one.
What?
Yeah, it's my last one this year. My
Oh
last one.
man.
What do you mean
Yeah.
it's your last one?
This is my last TwitchCon. I'm not gonna go for probably several years after this one.
Why is
that's coming
that?
up. I have kids that would probably want to go on like trips with their parents instead of us
Mhm.
going spending money at TwitchCon all the time. So
Wait, you're telling me
yeah,
that you want to like go on with your life and go on to the next chapter of your. No, listen. Hey, I'll see it. I'll see it. TwitchCon 2032, buddy. All right. GTA
Maybe
7 RP. All right, it'll be fun.
We're never gonna live to see GTA 7, brother.
Maybe.
I have high doubts.
I want them to do GTA. I know it's like very much like a US thing. I'd love to see GTA set in like Tokyo or like one of the big.
Dude, that would be cool.
One of the big international cities. Oof. Or maybe they do that as like a different game.
Yeah.
I want space bounty hunters. That's what I want. Space bounty hunters. I want some good sci-fi RP. Where are like
Hey,
where are the cyberpunk servers?
What's the game I'm thinking of that like people were doing RP on? It was a space game, and there was like a big Kickstarter for it. Damn it, chat! Star Citizen. There was people role playing on Star Citizen. Have you ever heard of that game?
Yeah,
dude. It's like apparently it's like very in depth, but there was like a big community of people going around role playing on it. Like they had a hard time because like not everybody's gonna role play with you and stuff. But like there were some cool things happening, and I was like, that looks fun. I'm not really into that much space game stuff like that, but I was like, that looks like it could be fun with the right people. And the crazy thing is I pledged for Star Citizen all those years ago. Never played it.
Oh wow! How much did you pledge?
I don't remember. It was that long ago. It was a really, really long time ago.
Damn.
Yeah.
I just remember I constantly hearing about it, but never like seeing it be fully completed.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever will be, to be completely real with you, but it's something you should look at if you're like, because there is like a role-playing community on there, but you just need to go in there with like a good, like have a crew of your own to kind of kick it off a little bit.
Listen, it sounds like in between now and whenever the next NoPixel server is, Nakkida, Chatterbox, we need to hit up Red Dead. We need to hit up maybe Star Citizen. We gotta expand, get some crews together to go try out some other games. That's what it's sounding like. After you guys,
NoPixel would do another Arc server. That was so much fun. That was peak.
Oh, they did a Rust server too, right? That was fun also.
They did Ark Survival?
Yeah. Coil was involved. It was a big thing. A lot of us like took a break from NoPixel and just went and played Ark, and we were all role playing, and there was like little wars going on here and there, like tribal warfare, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't know, Ark's kind of passed along since its peak, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I love Ark. It's my favorite, like one of my favorite games.
Yeah, a lot of people are playing Dune right now, like from the NoPixel community.
You know, the game The Warriors that Rockstar made? You guys ever played that one or seen it?
What's it called?
The
No.
Warriors? So it's basically like a gang from like the late 70s, right? And it's like there's no guns or anything, bro. Like it came out on the PS2 in 2005. It was like my favorite game of all time for like years. They were always talking, there was a rumor going around that they were going to remake the game, right? And then there was this forum online people saying they're going to make a mod for it. It's hard to explain if you've never seen it, but like I was always so like hyped because I thought modders were going to go in there and they were going to make servers, and then you'd have your gangs and you can do like, turf battle, stuff like that, but there's no weapons. There's weapons, but like it's crowbars, and it's just all handheld stuff. No guns, or there's no cars. Everything's on foot. It was like it's a really, really good game. So if you like story games, even if you're not into like, gang stuff, I'm not either. But that game, like, I highly recommend it. But it is a PS2 game, so you have to like find ways to play it if you don't have a PS2. But
not into gang stuff. Listen, I'll say it, for all of the shit you used to talk on Chatterbox to Mickey back in 3.0, you have become the gangbanger, both your character and Tessa. Mickey hasn't done shit in 4. I have not done, except for like, planning.
You don't wake up, bro.
Okay, well. Listen, there's
Meanwhile, this guy's planning like the last what was it? The last the clean boy thing.
yeah.
Not gang my ass.
I'm planning it. I'm not in it. That's not a gang. That's a heist crew. That's different. Guys, listen.
The heist crew.
I'm very busy, you know, with secret stuff. You know, I can't always be role playing. So no, I do. I know it's like I have a desire to role play more, but it's just I don't know. It's just tough. I don't have enough time. I got some dude spam messaging me to spawn in weapons for events. I have to keep responding to. So
fucking mimes, man.
I have to talk to the admins about that because this guy, I feel like he's power gaming on me. So I need to.
Yeah. Whoa.
No, I actually do. I will say of people in terms of like how you guys have used some of the stuff that I've been able to like bring into the server, like. Because you know, it's like I have done stuff with the dev panel that's not what my original intended purpose for it was. You guys have been amazing with that stuff, which is really cool. Because it's like, yeah, like if I'm around and doing, you know, my other stuff, it's like I might as well go use it and help with some other stuff too. So, it's been really cool actually.
The thing I like most about it is like the stuff that we do get though. It's not being used out of control either, right? It's like that's another big plus. Like we typically lose everything pretty quickly and don't use it for going out to like go do other stupid crazy shit or doesn't fall into the wrong hands, which has been thank God. But
I've actually kept I kind of have a little bit of a like a loose tab of stuff that I have spawned in for criminals. As of right now, I have actually damaged the criminal economy more than I've helped it. Because okay, honestly, it's two people skewed that number. Harry Brown and then who was it from the clowns who got the sniper rifle? Yeah. Basically the two people who wanted the sniper rifle who then got caught with it have tanked that ratio because and Hades getting busted too. I think I've like caused something to the tune of like $5 or $6 million in like criminal debts trying to do my jobs.
That's such a good thing, though. That's just such a good thing because when you have that negative impact, bro, like it's now they have more. Then they got something to do, right? Because once you get a lot of people always complain, you have all this money on stuff, like you know, like they get bored and whatever. Having stuff like that to have somebody come ruin you is like a lot of people don't realize it's the best thing that can happen to you sometimes.
Oh yeah, and it's been I actually have really enjoyed this like a part of that story is that the jobs are not like the criminals just get it and win. It's like of the big jobs, right? Except for like the stuff where I was like, you know, basically trying to do like more like sort of cinematic handoffs of weapons to you guys to supply or something. But if it's like one of the actual jobs, most of those have been failed, which I think adds that like, oh, it adds so much more stakes. Bro, I have Mickey and Breckers are camped out in the hobo camp right now because they're broke and they have like literally one last job that has to go well, right? I tend to like when characters are really feel like they're on the run and pressured. That always feels good. I mean, that's also why I love Red Dead. Whatever. Nakkida, you have been amazing. Thank you for coming on. Is there anything you want to shout out to the people? Are you selling anything? Do you have a crypto coin? Tessa coin? Do you want to we'll buy it?
Nakki coin.
I don't know about that. I do have you know, my merch stuff, but
wait, what? Really... Yo, Link? Shout it out. Wait, what?
Link?
Well, I think it's just I don't know if it'll work in the chat. Somebody might be able to do the command. There we go. Okay. That's the main thing that I would ever really shout out, but
an NFT, a non-fungible Tessa. That's good.
I am planning on doing some art prints and stuff like that in the future because I'm getting more into my art and things. And also, Chatterbox, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I had done a 3D model of Chatterbox. And I'm getting into that kind of stuff as well. So maybe future...
I would love to see this.
Future 3D print files in the works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at your site right now. What the hell?
Mhm.
You got the anger hat?
Yeah.
I'm buying this. It comes in red.
You should have
But
told. You should have
thank
told me
you.
this before because I now have the ability to put things into the overlay on the side of the screen, including the Chatterbox plushie from YouTube's. Wait, did you guys sell out or are those still?
It ended 3 hours ago.
Oh well, okay, well, so that one's lit. See, I could have swapped it for that. Oh, I should have asked you beforehand. That's my bad.
We sold a lot, so thank you very much, everybody. We sold a lot, and I was not expecting that. You have a beaver bush jacket?
Yeah.
It's a well. It's a nice jacket.
Okay, well,
But yeah, thank you so much for like the invite and all that. I really do appreciate it, and I always enjoy these podcasts. You guys know I always lurk in the chat and you have them on, so
yeah,
thank you very much.
And I have to do it's my cringe call out for the Roleplay Podcast. And if you guys want more content from Nakkida in the context of the Roleplay Podcast, you can also find that at Roleplay Podcast on YouTube, where Nakkida was in a previous episode. And that episode was also really cool because you opened up to us about like some pretty like crazy challenges that women have had to face in the role-playing scene, which was an amazing episode, by the way. Super insightful. You guys can find that. I don't know what episode number it was, but it's one of the episodes on Roleplay Podcast on YouTube or on your favorite podcasting devices. Yeah, I don't know where my transition was after that. So there's that. Chatterbox, anything else from you?
Nothing really, but I promise my opinions will be set free sooner than later.
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm excited.
Right time, the right place. Right time, right place.
Dimoke did have a message, said he didn't want to be here, doesn't fuck with you. That's why this is the only episode in the new season that he skipped. I'm so sorry, Nakkida, but yeah, he just doesn't fuck with you. And
oh, no, that's okay. It's okay. Yeah, he should probably admit the real reason. It's just that he's scared of me.
That's probably true. You know, I met him in real life. The first thing this guy does is take me to a fucking nerd museum in Seattle to show me like the D&D exhibit. Like, well, this guy is such a nerd. He's actually.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was actually really fun. It was great. Anyways, that does it for this Roleplay Podcast. Twitch.tv/Nakkida. Nakkida, thank you for joining us. I'm Blau. This is also the Chatterbox. Thank you guys so much. And as always, see you in the city.
Thanks, Nakkida.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.